Hi, in this session we will explore the Manage Backlogs page. The Manage Backlogs page comprises of section on the left which has the product backlog and the section on the right which has the releases and sprints. Let us begin by first adding a story to the product backlog. By clicking on the Add Story button, we can add a story. So I am entering a story called Story A. Description of the story. Story type, I'm choosing user story. I say that this is 5 story points. We choose the priority as high and we choose the user as Samir and we save. So we can see the story just has appeared here. Now if you want to edit the story, we can edit the story here itself and say story B instead and get saved. We can similarly update the story points and make changes in line on the row itself. If we want to make multiple changes across various rows, we can double click on the header and then we can make those changes directly, and this makes the whole process faster. Now there are other things that can be done, and one of that is that you can send a message to a person using the message functionality here. You can say please send the document for the story. We choose the person to whom we have to send this, and the message now remains in the context of this particular story. So if we click again, we can see that it has stuck to this particular story. Additionally, we can attach files. So if there are some files, we can attach files. Okay. And if you want to edit the complete story, you can edit the complete story itself. Here goes the description, and we can save. So there are various ways in which you can make changes. One is by doing inline editing, the other is by clicking on the header and making changes across various rows, and the third is that if you want to make changes to more than one field, it would be probably better to click on the click edit button here and the pop-up will open and you can make changes that are required. Now the other thing that you have to do with the product backlog and other backlogs is that you have to rank the stories. So there are a couple of functionalities which will make this process easier for you. Now we can see that these two stories are of medium priority. Probably you want to move them to the bottom of the product backlog. So we select these two, we go to actions and we say move stories to the bottom. So the stories have been moved to the bottom. So if you want to move stories to the top, similarly you can select a story and move it to the top. Right. So this is the process by which you can rank the stories based upon the priority, which ones you would like to do earlier than the others. If you want to filter stories, you can filter based upon the priority. For example, if you want medium stories, you can do medium, you can do high, you can do all, and so you can see all the stories which are of that particular time. You can also filter based upon the story type. So you can say I want to only see the bugs, so you can only see the bugs now. So these basically enable you to filter out stories based upon the section of story that you want to focus on. Essentially this would also be useful in cases where stories have been assigned to teams and you would only like to see stories belonging to a particular team. In the current backlog we don't have, we have one story which belongs to team B. So if there were multiple stories belonging to team B, then we could have said, okay, we want to see stories of team B, and then double click and essentially give those stories back to the individuals to whom these stories have been finally assigned. So this is what filters can be used for. Actions, as I just shown you, is used for moving stories from the backlog to the top or bottom of the story. or move stories from a sprint backlog back to the product backlog. And you can also use to delete stories in case you want to delete certain stories. In addition to this, if you see on the right hand side, it basically lists the releases and the sprints. And if you want to add another release, you can click on this button and add a release. So, for example, we already have a couple of releases. I can add one more, release 4, and I say this is from say 1st of August to 31st of August, and save this now. If you want to now add a sprint to this release, you can quickly add a sprint. In for release 4. Okay. And this is starting 1st of August and finishes on 15th. So you can quickly add a release and also add a sprint to that release. The other thing that this page is used for is basically moving the backlog items from product backlog to sprint backlog or release backlog. So shuffling the stories across the various backlogs that we have. So if I want to, for example, move story B from the product backlog to sprint features, I can click on this and the story gets assigned to sprint of features. And if I move down, I can see the story B is appearing here now. So this is what most of features are. One feature that is lift basically is about assigning stories to teams. So if you want to assign multiple stories to a particular team, then you can select those stories and assign it to that particular team. So we have assigned 3 stories to team A, and if we go and click on this particular sprint, again sprint of features, this one. So we can see that these 3 stories now have team A assigned instead of the earlier allocations. That's about it in this particular page. Thank you so much for your time.